all free men, wherever they may live, are citizens of Berlin. And therefore, as a free man, I take pride in the words, Ich bin ein Berliner.
The Cold War wasn't powered by ideology, it was powered by illegal money both superpowers swore never existed. For decades, we were told a simple story: two giants, locked in an ideological death match, capitalism versus communism, freedom versus oppression, democracy versus the iron fist. But behind the speeches, the parades, the nuclear stockpiles, and the televised propaganda, there was another Cold War entirely. One that never appeared in history textbooks. One they didn't reach us in school. One that never had national heroes. One that didn't operate with votes, flags, or treaties, but with cash. Dirty cash. Shadow cash. Money that moved through shell companies, mafia pipelines, black market intermediaries, and intelligence agencies that pretended to police crime while secretly feeding off it. And the deeper you go, the more disturbing the truth becomes. Without these illegal money networks, the Cold War, as we know it, could not have happened. Before we continue, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Cold War deep dives. Now let's dive into this load of trouble. It starts with a simple question no one ever asked: how did two superpowers fund a 45-year geopolitical arm wrestle that cost the equivalent of trillions of dollars? Without collapsing, the answer lies in a shadow economy built in the dark, an economy that didn't care about ideology, morality, or the politics of East and West. It only cared about one thing: survival through secrecy. Both sides participated. Both sides profited. And both sides built monsters they could never fully control. But to understand how this hidden financial engine worked, you have to go back to the moment the Second World War ended, when the world thought peace was finally possible. It wasn't. As Europe lay in ruins, the global financial order fractured. Millions were displaced, borders were redrawn, and entire industries vanished overnight. Every country needed money, fast, to rebuild, rearm, or simply survive. And when legitimate channels failed, a parallel system emerged, piece by piece, through desperation, opportunism, and the quiet greed of people who realized war creates chaos, and chaos creates opportunity. In the West, American intelligence agencies began turning to organized crime figures they once hunted, using them as covert arms traffickers, narcotics couriers, money launderers, and political enforcers. The logic? Criminals had what governments lacked: global networks, secrecy, plausible deniability, and terrifying efficiency. In the East, the Soviet Union constructed an even stranger financial hydra. It built a massive black market empire through front companies, smuggling rings, and state-approved criminal syndicates. It relied on illegal gold transfers, counterfeit currency operations, and secret intelligence-run banks across Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. Both superpowers pointed fingers. Both accused the other of corruption. Yet both depended on the same dirty engines powering the same silent machine. If ideology was the mask, money was the bloodstream, and that bloodstream reached everywhere. It flowed through the rebuilding of Western Europe, where American mob-linked businesses laundered billions meant for reconstruction. It flowed through the jungles of Southeast Asia, where covert operations were funded not by congressionally approved budgets but by heroin networks run with elite military support. It flowed through the deserts of the Middle East, where arms deals, oil kickbacks, and off-book profits allowed intelligence agencies to fight wars that never officially happened. It flowed through Africa and Latin America, where coups, revolutions, and insurgencies were quietly financed not through patriotism, but through bribes, smuggling, and black market currencies. And it flowed into the Soviet bloc, where the KGB itself managed a global portfolio of illegal enterprises, including drug trafficking, gold smuggling, and the biggest counterfeit operation of the century. What makes this even darker is that both sides knew exactly what the other was doing, and they let it continue. Because they needed it. Because cutting off the shadow economy would have meant cutting off their own power. The Cold War wasn't two nations. It was two networks, each with a public face and a hidden skeleton. The public face gave speeches, the skeleton printed money, armed militias, bribed presidents, and trafficked whatever could keep the gears turning. And for nearly half a century, these networks grew so large, so interconnected, so quietly indispensable that by the 1980s they resembled something closer to global criminal empires than nation-states. But here's the part almost no one knows: these operations didn't end with the Cold War. The network survived. The money survived. The front companies survived. The secret banks survived. The criminal alliances forged in the shadows didn't disappear, they adapted. They became the early architecture of global money laundering, offshore tax havens, corporate secrecy, and intelligence financial cooperation that still shapes the world today. The black budgets of the 1960s paved the way for modern dark money. The covert operations of the 70s became the blueprint for today's private military contractors. The shell companies used in the 80s evolved into the offshore empire exposed by the Panama Papers. The temporary criminal alliances formed in wartime became permanent structures of global power. The Cold War shadow economy didn't die, it won, and the modern world, the world of hedge funds, cyber warfare, cartel diplomacy, foreign interference, oligarchs, sanctioned billionaires, illicit finance, and trillion-dollar secrecy, is its descendant. This is the untold story of how invisible money shaped the most dangerous conflict in human history, and how its ghosts still govern the world today. But to uncover the truth, we have to dive deeper into the exact mechanisms, names, deals, betrayals, and financial pipelines that powered both superpowers. We have to look at the real actors behind the scenes. The intelligence chiefs who signed off on criminal deals. The mob bosses who became unofficial diplomats. The bankers who built financial instruments designed to hide, not record, transactions. The smugglers who moved products the world pretended didn't exist. And the politicians who publicly condemned corruption while privately feeding from the same trough. This is where the real Cold War happened, not in Berlin, not in Washington, not in Moscow, but in the shadows, where money flowed freely. Alliances shifted quietly, and the survival of nations depended on networks no citizen ever voted for. The deeper you go, the more you realize something chilling. The Cold War wasn't an ideological conflict corrupted by crime, it was a criminal conflict decorated with ideology, and the people who truly shaped it operated without borders, without laws, and without loyalties. Only incentives, only profit, only power. If you want to understand how the modern world works, you need to understand this secret economy. Because it's still here. It never went away. And the people who control money in the shadows still control nations in the light.